turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Around Our Area continues now in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Your reader for this hour is Sally Herzog. We go to our first paper, the East Aurora Bee, and this is the Thursday, December 4th, 2025 edition. Our first article, East Aurora's Ray Bee, returning to classroom, will lead SUNY Fredonia's Educational Leadership Program. Veteran educator has served on village board since 2023. East Aurora resident, Village of East Aurora trustee, and veteran educator Jeffrey Raby, Ph.D., has been appointed as an assistant professor at SUNY Fredonia and the program coordinator of the university's Educational Leadership Program. The Advanced Certificate in Educational Leadership in the College of Education, Health, Science, and Human Services prepares candidates for school and district-level leadership positions, such as principal, director of special education, and superintendent. In a statement, Raby noted that SUNY Fredonia has a natural educational pipeline from undergraduate to graduate programming, which promotes continued growth within the department and, more importantly, for students. The university is renowned for its longtime partnership with K-12 schools within Western New York and beyond, he said, which only strengthens the positive learning culture for future leaders. A former longtime superintendent for the DePuy Union Free School District, Raby's career also includes experience as director of secondary education, middle school, and high school assistant principal and principal, school counselor, and teacher. Dr. Raby comes to us with a strong background in both educational leadership at the pre-K through 12 level as a principal and superintendent, and in the higher education, teaching and directing educational leadership programs in our region. Dean of the College of Education, Health, Science, and Human Services, Janelle Ray. Ray also noted Raby's established network of colleagues in both educational arenas that will assist him in supporting SUNY Fredonia students and ensuring that the courses and programs offered are aligned with the current needs of schools and school districts. After retiring, Raby returned to DePuy to serve as their interim superintendent last year. He also previously had a post-retirement stint as interim superintendent for the West Seneca Central School District. Raby has also taught and/or held the administrative position at Duville University, St. Bonaventure University, and Niagara University. Raby also possesses a Ph.D. in Leadership and Policy from Niagara University, an M.S. in Education and School Counseling from St. Bonaventure, and a B.S. in Education from Damon College. His state certificates include School District Administrator, School Counselor, Elementary Education, and Special Education certifications. SUNY Fredonia's online educational leadership program focuses on bridging theory to practice through instructors who are either practicing or retired educational leaders who understand the demands, challenges, and rewards of the career they are preparing for or preparing the program candidates for to enter. Ray said, its step-by-step format provides flexibility for working professionals to pursue the advanced certificate and attracts a diverse cohort from throughout New York State. The program's Online Plus designation from SUNY has established it as a high-quality program for online learning. We also benefit from the support of SUNY Fredonia's Office of Online Learning, which is recognized as a leader in the state for its course development guidance and support of faculty teaching online and student learning online, Ray added. SUNY Fredonia has been educating students since 1826, evolving from a small academy into a 256-acre comprehensive university in southern western New York. SUNY Fredonia formally became recognized as a university rather than a college in 2023 after meeting higher credentials. There are currently more than 500 students enrolled in the education program at the university. Raby has served on the Village of East Aurora board since 2003. Local teen honored for emergency aid. This is by Emma McGillicuddy. A quick decision in a crowded school cafeteria led to statewide recognition for Orchard Park teen Zachary Restorff, who acted within seconds when he saw a classmate suffering a severe arm injury and rapidly losing blood. Restorff was standing across the cafeteria when the incident unfolded. He saw the student collapse and immediately recognized the seriousness of the injury. "I was standing across the cafe and saw the incident happen," he said. "As I saw the blood spurting, I immediately ran over to the student to provide first aid." For his actions that day, Restorff received the New York State Emergency Management Services Youth Provider of the Year Award on November 7th during a ceremony in Syracuse. The award, presented as part of the Vital Signs Conference, recognizes young people who demonstrate exceptional composure and capability during emergency situations. According to the award program, the injured student has sustained a significant arm wound that severed an artery, resulted in rapid pulsing blood loss. An assistant principal attempting to control the bleeding, but the hemorrhaging continued. Restorff stepped in, applied a tourniquet, and when the bleeding did not slow, instructed staff on placing a second tourniquet that successfully stopped the blood loss. As teachers and staff contacted 911, Restorff remained with the student, holding him and keeping him calm until paramedics arrived. The student made a full recovery. The program describes Restorff's intervention as rapid and professional and highlights the crucial role young responders can play in life-threatening situations. Restorff's ability to act decisively was built through years of training. He learned first aid as a scout in Troop 285 and was a Life Scout and junior firefighter with the Orchard Park Fire District at the time of the incident. He is now an Eagle Scout, awaiting his Court of Honor, and a member of the Hillcrest Volunteer Fire Company. Training from the Hillcrest Fire Company, as well as Boy Scouts of America, has given me a skill set and the confidence to operate in stressful environments while remaining calm, he said. Restorff said the experience reinforced the importance of preparation and encouraged young people to learn basic life-saving skills. "I encourage everyone to take basic first aid as well as stop-the-bleed courses or training," he said. "Emergency happens every day. You never know when you will be the first person on the scene." TSA introduces new $45 fee option for travelers without real ID starting on February 1st. The Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, recently announced that it will refer all passengers who do not present an acceptable form of ID and still want to fly an option to pay a $45 fee to use a modernized alternative identity verification system. TSA confirmed ID to establish identity at security checkpoints beginning on February 1st, 2026. Travelers will be able to pay $45 to use TSA Confirm ID for a 10-day period. TSA urges travelers who do not have a real ID to schedule an appointment at their local DMV to update their ID as soon as possible to avoid the fee. Acceptable forms of ID include Real ID compliant driver's license or other state photo identity cards issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles or equivalent. If you are not sure if your ID complies with the Real ID, check with your State Department of Motor Vehicles. A temporary driver's license is not an acceptable form of identification. A state-issued enhanced driver's license, or EDL, or enhanced ED, a U.S. passport, a U.S. passport card, DHS Trusted Traveler Cards, Global Entry, Nexus, Central, and FAST, U.S. Department of Defense ID including IDs issued to dependents, Permanent Resident Card, Border Crossing Card, and acceptable photo ID is issued a federally recognized tribal nation, Indian tribe, including Enhanced Tribal Cards, or ETCs, HSPD-12 PIV card, Foreign Government Issued Passport, Canadian Provincial Driver's License, or Indian and Northern Affairs Canada Card, Transportation Worker Identification Credential, or TWIC, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Employment Authorization Card, a I-766, a U.S. Merchant Mariner or your Merchant Mariner Credential, Veteran Health Identification Card, or VHIC. All travelers without an acceptable ID, including those who present a non-real ID compliant state driver's license or ID, will be referred to the optional TSA Confirm ID process for identity verification upon TSA check-in and prior to entering the security line. This process will differ airport to airport, and TSA is working with private industry to proactively offer online payment prior to arrival at the airport. Currently, more than 94% of passengers already use their real ID or other acceptable forms of identification. TSA expects increased wait times for passengers who do not provide an acceptable ID. TSA urges all travelers who do not have a real ID to pay the fee online before traveling. For passengers who arrive at the airport without paying the fee, information about how to pay for the TSA Confirm ID option will be available at marked locations at or near the checkpoint in most airports. Travelers who undergo TSA Confirm ID processing at an airport should expect delays. The cost to get a real ID is the same as getting a standard New York State license or non-driver ID, which are now marked not for federal purposes. If processed at renewal or first issuance, there is no additional cost to obtain a real ID. For more information on Real ID, visit www.for.erie.gov/clerk about federal Real ID, or text 275-872 Ask TSA with related questions. Charles Dickens presents A Christmas Carol, returning to East Aurora. Performances begin at 7:30. Aurora Players is once again celebrating the holiday season with the beloved Western New York tradition. Charles Dickens presents A Christmas Carol, starring acclaimed performer Mike Randall, for a limited engagement. This was on December 4th and 6th at the new Scott Byler Family Foundation Auditorium within Hamlin Park's historic Roycroft Pavilion. In this remarkable one-man performance, Randall transforms into Charles Dickens himself, bringing to life more than 2 dozen characters from this classic tale, from Ebenezer Scrooge to Tiny Tim, with authenticity, warmth, and humor. Faithful to Dickens' own 1860s public readings of A Christmas Carol, Randall's performance blends storytelling and drama in a way that continues to captivate audiences of all ages. Mike's portrayal of Dickens and his timeless story of redemption have become a holiday favorite for so many, said Tim Musial, East Aurora Players Board President. We're thrilled to bring this cherished tradition to our stage and share it with the community in our newly renovated auditorium. Randall, a well-known retired WKBW television weatherman and reporter, as well as a formidable actor, has been performing Charles Dickens Presents A Christmas Carol for 18 years, delighting audiences across the region and beyond. His engaging interpretation and heartfelt delivery make the production's perfect way to usher in the holiday spirit. Dickens was not only an author, but a professional actor as well, said Randall. When I found out that he came to Buffalo to read his famous story in 1868, I decided to recreate Mr. Dickens' presentation of his most well-known work, Randall added. What I find most intriguing is the way the author threw himself into the performances, not just reading the words, but becoming each of the characters on stage. It was a blending of author and character, creating wonderful magic on stage, which I tried to bring to every performance. Before we go to our next paper, we'd like to tell you you're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And we move to the Orchard Park Bee, and this is the Thursday, December 4th, 2025 edition. We go to our first article. Agriculture enthusiasts win statewide Grow New York Youth Competition. This is by Joseph Clenard. After being named as one of 8 finalists for the 5th annual Grow New York Youth Competition, Orchard Park High School sophomore Nate DeJong won the first place and a $1,000 cash prize at this year's event. The Grow New York Youth Competition, hosted by New York Agriculture in the Classroom, New York State 4-H, and New York State FFA, is a Shark Tank-style business pitch event where competitors create their own business ideas and present them in front of a panel of judges in conjunction with the Grow New York initiative. DeJong, an agricultural enthusiast, has been heavily involved with 4-H for most of his life. Winning hundreds of ribbons at the Erie County Fair, dozens of ribbons at the New York State Fair, and rosettes, which is the highest honor at the State Fair. I got into agriculture at a very young age because of my grandparents, said DeJong. They are the ones who first got me involved, which led me to starting my own garden a couple years ago during COVID. That inspired me to create this project because I want to improve the gardening conditions for everyone. For the competition, DeJong created Soil Elevated, a web-based platform that helps users improve their soil by analyzing up to 17 parameters and giving crop-specific recommendations. Additionally, it offers crop rotational planting, pest prevention guidance, compost calculations, and soil health tracking. It means a lot to win this competition with this idea I had, said DeJong. It is something that is very personal to me, and winning this competition can help me refine and improve the platform so even more people can benefit from it. DeJong did not just make Soil Elevated for the competition. He intends to continue the platform and make improvements over time to the website to further develop his ideas and allow more people to use his ideas. The main thing I need to do is add more data storage to the website, said DeJong. I previously didn't have enough data storage for the website, but now I can fully get it launched and the data can get tracked for years and years. For DeJong, winning the competition doesn't just mean recognition for his ideas and an award, but it means an invaluable experience that he will bring with him throughout his agricultural journey and his platform. The biggest thing that means the most throughout this entire process has been the experience and the connections I have made, said DeJong. A lot of the people I have met along the way have been so helpful with my business idea, and I am super grateful for them because they have now put me in a position where I can expand this idea over the next couple of years. Orchard Park native earns a Roop Scholar honor. Orchard Park resident Julia Scher has been named the Arup Global Scholar, a national honor awarded to students committed to social justice and to improving the lives of people experiencing poverty. Scher, a 2023 graduate of Canisius University, began a 5-year Doctor of Medicine and Master of Public Health program this fall at Creighton University School of Medicine in Phoenix, Arizona. The scholarship supports her pursuit of the dual degree. The Arup Global Scholars Program is named for Pedro Arupe, S.J., a Jesuit leader recognized for his work in social justice and humanitarian service. Canisius University reported that recipients are selected for academic excellence and a demonstrated commitment to serving communities in need. According to the university, Schur entered Canisius as a Division I soccer player and psychology major, and engaged in a wide range of academic, volunteer, and research experiences that shaped her interest in medicine. Allison Backstrom, director of the Dr. George E. Schreiner 43 Pre-Medical Center at Canisius, said Schur consistently sought opportunities that broadened her perspective and helped her build on education that extended beyond standard pre-medical requirements. During her undergraduate years, Schur joined student groups focused on pre-medical studies, social justice, and public health. She completed 2 pre-med internships and conducted honors thesis research on health disparities affecting pregnancy outcomes. Canisius reported that this work informed her volunteer service at the Priscilla Project at Jericho Road Community Health Center in Buffalo, where she mentored a Syrian refugee through postpartum care. The university noted that Schur often credited her ability to balance academics, athletics, and service to the support of teammates, classmates, and faculty members who encouraged her to pursue meaningful experiences. After graduating, Schur spent more than 2 years preparing for medical school. Canisius reported that she worked as a medical assistant while studying for the medical college admission test, then served in the Jesuit Volunteer Corps at an under-resourced K-8 Catholic school in San Diego. Her work in the school's community resource center deepened her understanding of how social and economic challenges influence health and access to care. Schur plans to continue drawing on her values and experiences as she moves through the MD-MPH program and explores potential paths within the medical field. DePue High School class submits proposal for historic landmarker. This is by Rachel Ross. In Maria Hawk's U.S. Politics and Government class at DePue High School, the past several months have seen students doing more than just observing government process, but participating in them, as the class has submitted a proposal to designate a historical landmarker in South Buffalo, bringing awareness to a community forgotten by time. Through the assistance of Hawk and school librarian Lisa Martini, students recently underwent the process of submitting a proposal to the City of Buffalo to install a marker in the Outer Harbor, acknowledging the history of Seawall, a community that called the area home in the late 1800s. According to documents gathered by the class, the community of Seawall, also sometimes referred to as the island or the beach, existed in the area between the Buffalo Lighthouse and Wilkinson Point from the mid-1800s to the early 1900s. The community consisted of small homes located amongst the area's grain elevators and included a schoolhouse, a church, general store, and restaurants. The town's inhabitants were eventually evicted in order to make way for industrial development. However, it took several years for all residents to be removed. According to Hoke, who had worked at the city's historical society before teaching, she was inspired to engage her students on the project after attending a conference on landmarkers and working with Martini over the summer to develop an accessible class initiative. I actually found a historical map at the Historical Society which proved seawall's existence. And then from there, I worked over the summer to locate resources and to bring them together. And then, when September came along, I enrolled Martini in the project, Hoke said. Her expertise and knowledge about not only curating things, but organizing it and making it student-friendly and approachable was really helpful. From there, Hoke advised the class on the steps necessary to create the proposal, including gathering primary and secondary documents proving the community's existence, writing a letter of intent, and choosing the wording for the proposed marker's inscription. We spent days in the library learning about it, and we were in separate groups that had different jobs to do, so that we understood the full process of what it was like creating a historic marker, said DPU Senior Claire Lanthier. Then we went on an actual field trip to pick our location and to see other examples of historic markers in Buffalo. According to Hoke, the students' work has been improved by the William G. Pomeroy Foundation, a nonprofit organization that provides grants for historical markers. Currently, the class is awaiting approval from the City of Buffalo to install the marker at the students' chosen location. Lanthier said that going through the process was not only educational, but that it was fun and engaging to learn more about local history. It led us to learn more about our government as a whole and that process in general. And it was just really fun to learn about community that was so close to us and that we could even be related to because they were so close to Buffalo, Lanthier said. Hoke said anyone interested in supporting the project can do so by raising awareness or reaching out to local representatives to help facilitate the approval. Volunteering is worth the time. Finding time in our days to get done what we need to do can be challenging, whether it's work, taking care of the yard, getting the kids where they need to be, tracking that project that's been on the, or tackling that project that's been on the to-do list forever, or just getting the laundry done. Schedules can always seem tighter than we want them to be. While many of us may not feel as though we have an abundance of extra time to give back for the betterment of our community, taking even a few hours here and there is more than worth the investment. During the holidays, donations increase as the spirit of giving is front and center for people. However, donations of goods and services, along with volunteering your time, is a need throughout the year, not just during the holiday season. If you are looking to make a larger commitment, fire companies across town are always in need of new members. In that role, you can have a literal life-altering impact on other people's lives. Perhaps you're looking for a small, less stressful commitment. If so, Feed More Western New York may be just the place for you. Through that organization, you can help deliver meals to those in need on an ongoing basis, or help package those meals. If you have a creative flair and are looking for something that you can do from home in your own time, you can contribute to the Angel Card Program. Through this program, you can create cards that will be delivered to meal recipients to help brighten their days. You can learn more about those volunteer programs by visiting www.feedmorewny.org. Get involved. Volunteer. If cute and furry are more your speed, the SPCA serving Erie County has tons of opportunities of varying commitments, from event volunteer to kitten nursery attendant to videographers and volunteers to work with wildlife. You can learn about all those opportunities at yourspca.org/how-you-can-help volunteer. One of the beautiful things about volunteering is that there is always an organization in need of help that will align with the personal interests of just about anybody. And while you will be doing work to help others, you will also walk away feeling fulfilled by the experience. This region is known as a place full of good neighbors, and it is something that many Western New Yorkers take a great deal of pride in. Taking a bit, or perhaps a lot, if you have it, of time and effort to help others is an activity that will never leave you feeling as though you've wasted your time. It not only helps individuals in need, but also helps make Western New York and Orchard Park a place that you and your neighbors can be glad to call home. Before we go to our next paper, we'd like to tell you you're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And we move to the West Seneca Bee, and this is the Thursday, December 4th, 2025 edition. We move on to our first article, Interest Grows in Boys and Girls Club. This is by Eric Kepler. West Seneca Superintendent Dr. Lisa Kruger has been a long vocal supporter of establishing a Boys and Girls Club in West Seneca. It is clear, however, that if the project comes to fruition, it must be independent of the school district. It needs community support. So when Kruger hosted an informational meeting a few weeks ago to gauge interest from residents, she wasn't sure what to expect. What she got was a pleasant surprise. The response was amazing, Kruger said. We had almost 50 people show up saying, "Sign me up. We want to make this a reality." Now we want to amplify the message and continue to raise awareness, because I'm sure a lot of people still don't know about this. Kruger was asked more than a year ago why West Seneca didn't have a club. She learned that a group of residents tried to get one going about 10 years ago, but the effort fizzled out. She certainly found plenty of data to support the creation of a club. According to the 2020 census, 9,200 residents in West Seneca live in or near poverty. More recent data suggests that the population in poverty has increased by 17%, while the total population increased by 1%, which translates to 764 children under the age of 18 living in poverty. We identified a need among our upper elementary and middle school kids, Kruger said. Sometimes they go home alone if they're not engaged in athletics or some other club, and they likely spend a lot of time on screens or in risky behavior. Boys and Girls Club of America serves 4 million youth annually, with more than 5,000 clubs nationwide. They provide a safe, adult-supervised center where students can be physically active, engage with peers in arts and games, get help with homework, and provide a fun place for kids after school and during breaks and summer vacation. When we were working on our strategic plan, the committee kept looking at what we need to support students socially and emotionally, Kruger said, and we just kept coming back to something like a Boys and Girls Club. Unfortunately for West Seneca, Boys and Girls Club of America is not currently endorsing any new stand-alone clubs, but partnering with an existing club is an option, and Kruger found a good one in East Aurora Boys and Girls Club, CEO Gary Schutrum. Gary has been a guide and mentor for us in this process, Kruger said. He's been their director for more than 30 years, and his club has a great reputation. We have access to their experienced staff, programming, guidance, and support, which has been invaluable. Which leads back to the need now for our community involvement on various committees, a board of directors for programming, fundraising, financial support, and membership, among others. The other major hurdle is that 1 year's operating budget must be in place, along with a long-term plan for financial stability. To serve approximately 250 students, the annual budget would be $600,000, with staffing being the greatest expense. Half of that total has already been obtained from Assemblyman Pat Burke, Kruger said. The anticipated site for the club is the Winchester School Building on Harlem Road. It's currently leased by Erie One Bosse's, but will largely be vacated following the 2026-27 school year. According to the Kruger's redistricting plan, which was adopted by the Board of Education last month, the Winchester building will continue to host a handful of BOCES classes, thereby allowing it to continue to be eligible for state aid. But it will also become something of a community center, housing the school district's community closet and registration services, as well as the proposed Boys and Girls Club, should it come to pass. Ultimately, the club will have its own infrastructure, but in the meantime, anyone interested in getting involved can contact Kruger at 716-677-3101. We're really just trying to raise awareness and see if key members in the community are willing to get behind this cause, Kruger said. We want to see if they want to be a part of that. A Vision for West Seneca Schools, Investing in Our Future. This is by Lisa Kruger. With the Board of Education's unanimous adoption of the elementary reconfiguration recommendation and plan on November 18th, we are committed to supporting our students, staff, and families through these changes that align with our long-range facilities plan. This plan includes alleviating the capacity and class size concerns at Clinton and Allendale Elementary Schools through reconfiguration. This solution will address the capacity and class size issues at the elementary level. To address the capacity issues at West Middle School, we have created a long-range facilities plan that entails repurposing the middle school pools at both East and West Middle School to create additional classrooms, instructional spaces. We envision creating innovative technology, or STEM or STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics instructional space for the footprint of our current pool areas, thereby allowing us to maximize our instructional spaces. We will maintain the pools at our 2 high schools, which are used by our swim teams, and to support our community education Learn to Swim program. We will be able to support our teams and programs with 2 high school pools, while reducing our ongoing maintenance expenses by filling in our 2 middle school pools. We will share more details about the upcoming capital improvement project to support our long-range facilities plan in the coming months. As we analyzed all of our facilities and their current and future use, it was apparent that our Ebenezer building, located at 900 Mill Road, is by far our facility in need of the most improvement and repairs. However, this building is not eligible for state aid for capital improvement because it's not a facility used for the instruction of students. This means that every dollar we invest in the Ebenezer building would be solely on our local taxpayers. Since we have adequate space elsewhere in the district, we intend to vacate the Ebenezer building during the 2027-28 school year and ultimately sell the property. This will alleviate the ongoing utilities and maintenance expenses, while allowing us to take the proceeds from the sale of the building and reinvest it in our school facilities. Our long-range facilities plan also supports the creation of a community center in the Winchester School. This will serve as a central location for our clothing closet and school supply closet. Through our strategic plan, we intend to open a family support center and are working to launch a Boys and Girls Club that would provide our students with a safe environment after school for homework assistance, physical activities, arts and crafts, and games. A Boys and Girls Club would allow our students to be engaged with peers in a safe and supervised environment after school and during school recess periods. We are moving forward with a strong vision for the future and intentionally about the use of our school building facilities to ensure we are financially responsible with taxpayer dollars. We appreciate your partnership and support to continue to make our schools safe and innovative instructional spaces that continue to be the hub of our community. HEAP application opens for winter. New Yorkers can now begin applying for heating assistance through the Energy Assistance Program to help defray the high cost of heating their homes during the winter. The program, known as HEAP, can provide up to $996 to eligible households, depending on how they heat their home. As temperatures have already begun to drop, it's disgraceful that the federal government took so long to provide federal funding for critical heating assistance for families across the state, Governor Hochul said. Hard-working New Yorkers count on this assistance to help with their utility bills and keep their homes warm during the cold winter months. That's why I fought hard to restore this funding, and I will continue to do everything in my power to help New York families apply for additional state funding to bring down energy costs. Due to the 43-day shutdown of the federal government, the opening of the HEAP application period was pushed back by a month as temperatures began to drop. The program, overseen by the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, or OTDA, is 100% federally funded. Many households automatically receive a HEAP payment due to their enrollment in other programs. OTDA prepared those automatic payments ahead of time, and these households can now be assured that a HEAP payment will soon be made to their heat supplier without needing to apply or take any additional action. Eligible households can receive one regular HEAP benefit per season and could also be eligible for an emergency HEAP benefit if they are in danger of running out of heating fuel or having their utility service shut off. Application for the additional emergency benefits will be accepted beginning January 2nd, 2026. The benefit amounts vary, with a maximum of $996, based on income, household size, heating source, and if the household contains a vulnerable member. A family of 4 can have a maximum gross monthly income of $6,680, or an annual gross income of $80,165, and still qualify for assistance. Applications for assistance are accepted at local departments of social services and can be submitted online, through the mail, or in person. Additionally, older adults needing assistance with HEAP applications can contact their local office for the aging or contact the New York Connects helpline at 1-800-342-9871. More than 1.5 million households received a regular HEAP benefit last year. Assistance is provided on a first-come, first-served basis. Hochul also urged more New Yorkers to enroll in New York State's Energy Affordability Program, or EAP, which provides up to $500 in annual discounts on energy bills. The state's EAP already serves approximately 1 million households statewide, but state officials estimate that approximately 1.5 million more households are eligible to receive a discount. New Yorkers can visit ny.gov EAP to learn about eligibility and enrollment. Before we move to our next paper, we'd like to tell you you're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And we move on to the Sun, and this is the Friday, December 5th, 2025 edition. Our first article, Benderson Development presents plan for restaurant at 5400 Southwestern Boulevard. This is by Chris Graham. A new restaurant with a drive-thru is planned for a space at 5400 Southwestern Boulevard, adding to the tenants at Briarwood Square. Benderson Development is seeking site plan approval from the town of Hamburg Planning Board for an 8,020 square foot multi-tenant outparcel building. Matthew Oates, Director of Engineering for Benderson Development, said the restaurant will be in the area south of where the Texas Roadhouse will be located. The Texas Roadhouse at 5450 Southwestern Boulevard, which received site plan approval from the Planning Board in March, has begun construction, according to Oates. The question on everyone's mind came from member William Clark, who asked what restaurant would be occupying the space, stressing that some restaurants need more stacking for cars going into the drive-thru than others. Oates said there is no tenant in place for the project currently. The site plan did show 10 stacking spaces. We think that's sufficient for most users who would go into that space, Oates said. Member Caitlin McCormick said that if the developer was thinking about a major coffee chain for the building, that 10 stacking spaces would not be enough. She added it would aid the board if they had a better idea of who the space is being marketed to. Oates said that it is typical for a tenant not to sign on to a space until the developer has made its way through some town approvals. What I can say is there are users, Chick-fil-A, and the unnamed national coffee chain. They have specific stacking requirements that they look for when they're coming to sites, and that this wouldn't be, Oates said. Based on what we're building, it would be a user who would feel the 10 stacking spaces is sufficient. Oates said he believes the tenant would not be a heavy drive-thru user. There will be 64 parking spaces for the restaurant. The board will hold a public hearing on the proposal during its meeting on Wednesday, December 17th. Hamburg Alumni Foundation announces record-breaking year, surpassing $1 million in support for students, educators, and community. The Hamburg Alumni Foundation Board recently announced a historic year of growth, highlighted in the 2025 annual letter. This year, the foundation surpassed a milestone of more than $1 million raised to support students, educators, and community initiatives across the Hamburg Central School District. Key accomplishments in 2025 include over $1 million raised for district initiatives, including $400,000 for capital projects, $285,000 in staff grants, and more than $275,000 in student scholarships. The Foundation's Wall of Fame now honors 186 distinguished alumni, 28 teams, and 7 families. A record-breaking year for major fundraising events, including the music fundraiser, alumni golf tournament, all-class reunion, Bash and Cash, and Wall of Fame celebration, collectively raising $158,000. Awarded $126,000 in foundation grants and $4,000 in student scholarships. The annual music fundraiser surpassed $100,000 in total donations, celebrating Hamburg's music legacy and recognizing alumni and educators, including the late Robert Richard. This mission was further strengthened by a major music grant secured through the Erie County legislator John Gilmore. Approved upfront funding to upgrade the digital sign located in front of Hamburg High School. In 2026, the foundation will be expanding visibility for scholarship and grant programs and launching a new collaborative initiative with the district and community. A major fundraiser is also planned to support the upgraded digital sign at the high school. Community members interested in becoming financial sponsors or joining a foundation committee or initiative are encouraged to contact the foundation for more information. Clover Bank Elementary School students honor classmates' dad. Students in Catherine Horace's and Michelle Kennedy's K-1 class at Clover Bank Elementary School showed their appreciation for veterans and active duty service members in a special way. Each student colored a vase of poppies to send to the father of their classmate, Adrian Miles. Adrian's father, Tech Sergeant Antoine Miles, serves with the 914th Air Refueling Wing at the Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station. Adrian often enjoys sharing stories about his father's service with his classmates. The project is a way for students to learn about gratitude, service, and the importance of honoring those who protect the freedom of everyone. Clover Bank Book Fair Preview Night welcomes families, local author on hand to sign Babalui. The Clover Bank Elementary School's book fair kicked off with a special preview night on November 14th. Families were invited to browse the wide selection of books ahead of the school-wide fair, which students attended during their regular library time throughout the week of November 17th. The event offered the opportunity for families to explore new stories together and get excited about reading. This year's preview night featured a special guest, local author Julie Gavin, who joined the celebration for a book sale and signage of her newly released book, Babalui. The book, a collection of poems written by Gavin, features illustrations created by Clover Bank students in Nick Gallardo's art class. Families had the opportunity to meet the author, purchase a signed copy, and celebrate the creative collaboration between Gavin and the young artists of Clover Bank. A total of 136 students contributed art to the book. On November 7th, students whose art was selected to be in the book were called down by grade to be given their free copy of the book by Gallardo and Gavin as a thank you for their creative efforts. Babalui and her other self-published books, Angel Wings and What My Mama Likes, are available at Gavin's website at pbjollykids.com. Frontier Craft and Vendor Fair attracts large number of shoppers. Fourth annual Frontier Craft and Vendor Fair had a little something for everyone, with more than 90 crafters and vendors showing off their work on November 15th at Frontier High School. We had a steady flow of traffic all day long, said Laura Arrington, co-president of the Frontier High School Parent-Teacher High School Parent-Teacher Student Association, with Laura Collins. We are very happy with how it turned out. The event utilized the large gymnasium, small gymnasium, cafeteria, and hallways for vendor displays. There was a gift card and basket raffle with more than 80 items available. We had a lot of people who were coming here for the first time and lots of repeat customers, which was really nice, said Arrington, a business teacher at Frontier Middle School. We also had a lot of Frontier faculty and staff who were coming through and shopping. A feature of the Frontier show is the Junior Crafters Young Entrepreneurs, who have tables right next to adult artists. We had a lot of junior crafters this year, Arrington said. Tips and Toes provided breakfast for the vendors, and Blaisdell Pizza provided lunch. Amstel Ice Cream and Woody's Ice Cream helped with marketing, and All Intents was the table sponsor. It was one of two big fundraisers for the FHSPTSA, with the other being the Falcon 5K and 1 Mile Walk that takes place in the spring. Money raised goes toward scholarships and initiatives. Magic Off Main opens in the village of Hamburg, providing close-up magic shows. This is by Chris Gordon. A strong history of magic in Western New York, together with a grandchild on the way, has led Sean Doolin to open Magic Off Main at 158 Lake Street in the village of Hamburg. It was formerly a tailor shop, Doolin said. Doolin and his wife were both born and raised in New York City. He began his career as a prosecutor in the Bronx before moving to Greene County in 1998, where he has been since. He continued working with the law firm for several years. At the age of 47, while dealing with an illness, his wife got him a book on magic, and from there a second career began as a magician and entertainer. Doolin, now 60, said he talked to his partners at the firm and let them know he wanted to pursue a career in magic, and they supported him with an agreement that he would still assist with cases when needed. But it was a combination of family and history that led him to start putting roots down in Western New York. Our son is here. He went to college here, Doolin said. But he told his son Buffalo is one of the few places he would consider moving to because of the strong history of magic. Buffalo has that, he said, extends as far west as Utica. He pointed to Buffalo native Eddie Fetcher as an inspiration to him. Fetcher performed magic at Forks Hotel in Cheektowaga for many years until he passed away in 1979. There is a historical marker at the corner of Broadway and Union Road that honors Fletcher. Doolin said Buffalo is home to one of the largest yearly magic events, the 4F Convention. The 2025 convention was held in April. He said when he started trying magic, he did one card trick, and it kind of took off from there. He said he has done thousands of shows, including over 500 at his location in Wyndham. Currently, he performs at all the shows, but is hopeful that will change in the near future. He said the shows are aimed at audiences ages 10 and up. A list of shows tentatively scheduled are available on magicoffmain.com, or anyone interested in having a group of people for a show can call 518-755-3433. Besides the regular shows, Doolin does other gigs such as bachelor and bachelorette parties. He said he is excited to attract new audiences in Western New York, and besides the shows, he hopes attendees enjoy a display he has about the history of magic in the Buffalo region. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour has been Sally Herzog. Thank you so much for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Ampol Eagle. At 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. And following that, at 5 o'clock, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision,